Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the challenge. This week we're going to be getting into the education that being a business owner gives you. It's crazy how this started with a side hustle with nothing but dreams and a few aspirations, but now it's all working out. There's a bunch of consequences that I just never saw coming, and this learning curve shot up from underneath me and it nearly floored me. So I want to talk about the things I've learned along the way and the way that I'm managing to somehow keep on top of things, maybe. Look, there's been a bunch of you that has joined this page since I came on here last, so I'd like to say thank you to all of you. For those of you that don't know me, yep, let's get into that one again. I'm Des. I'm 42. I live down in Brighton, in the very south of England. I've got 3 kids and a very heavily pregnant wife with baby number 4. I started a side hustle back in September 2022, taking £200 with a plan to turn it into £100,000 within 2 years. And I started a TikTok and a YouTube at the same time to document it all. Then I went to work, putting 30% on top of everything every month. We're up to month 8, and I reckon we're about 3 months ahead of schedule. I'm at about £6,500 of profit in the accounts, and the socials are crazy numbers. 60,000 on TikTok, 5,000 plus on YouTube, a Facebook community with over 3,500 in it. And yes, please come and join us if you haven't. But the reason I'm making this video is simply because May went crazy. Something seemed to click and everything got real, and we hit our first £2,000 month. We had another 25,000 of you join over the various platforms, and my phone just hasn't stopped buzzing. So here's a video of me moaning about how hard it is. No, but honestly, truth be told, Claire and I, we did decide to take a step back last month for a week and regroup and look at our aims, look at our aspirations, and then look at the tasks we're doing and making sure that they all aligned to said aspirations. So we took a few days off. When I finished my day job, I didn't open the personal laptop afterwards. We took a walk or two down the beach in the sunshine and went and had an ice cream. We went up to the Midlands to see my in-laws and spend a couple of days with them and enjoy the sunshine with the kids. It was really well needed and a real change of pace. But what we did do is we put everything in place ready for the next stage, because it's made us realise, I'm spoiling a little bit here, it made us realise that when you're not working on your business, you're not growing your business. Money was coming in, yeah, great, but we weren't growing it. It's incredible, really. So I might be moaning in this video, but I promise you I'm loving this challenge. I'm obsessing about it. And if you're on the fence and figuring out if you're going to start or not, please just get started. Anyway, enough of it. Roll it. Okay, so let's get into it. So now I'm watching hard work seemingly pay off, putting things in place and seeing dreams come true and my life changing in front of me. I'm continuing to obsess about this side hustle more and more than I ever did, and I obsessed about it enough in the first place. But I want to talk about the struggles that having 2 jobs now brings, one of which is your business that you're entirely responsible for, because it isn't all sunshine on lollipops. I want to get rid of this perception that when you make it, you'll only work for 3 hours a day and you'll get $1 million a month, because it dawned on me this month that that's just not going to happen. It's another lie that's been sold by these charlatans out there. You know, I get up at 5 a.m, I do a couple of trades, and then I go back to bed. Loser. You're talking out your backside, mate. Because what you realise is when you're running your own business, you don't want to rest. You enjoy it so much, you thrive on it, and it's obsessing you, so you don't want to rest. If anything, you have to put things in place to curb you. It's incredible, and I love it. But we're going to get into the things that you need to adapt if you're going to be a business owner. So here we are, talking about the things that I'm getting a crash course in as the money rolls in. We're never taught this stuff at school, and it baffles me why. First up, let's talk about the need for resilience. You're going to need to have resilience if you're getting into this, no matter what stage you're at. If you're just starting, if you're 6 months, if you're a year in, you're always going to have setbacks. But you have learned to dust yourself off, and you have learned to keep yourself going. And it's not just about surviving anymore, it's about thriving in the chaos. You become a problem solver. You adapt amazingly, and you find this creative spark inside you that ignites to overcome challenges. But to do this, you need to change your mindset, and you need to adopt this way of life that loves a challenge and loves learning from failure. So when setbacks happen, you take them on board. It's that Rocky speech, right? It's not about how hard you can hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. I'm not doing it in the voice. Then there's time management. You're juggling sourcing, packing, listing, pricing. If you're doing content, there's actually creation, Script writing, yeah, sometimes script writing, filming, editing, posting, SEO research. I've got engagements with lovely people on my mentee program, my mentoring program. 5-star reviews, by the way. Come and join in. I've got people on the Facebook community that are joining and need help. I've got DMs that are livelier than Harry Styles is. Maybe not. I've got friends and peers I've made in my networking since I've started. New business opportunities need to make time for. Throw in my day job, my kids, my wife, my very pregnant wife who's getting to the stage now where entirely understandably she needs a bit more help around the house. So time becomes your most precious asset, and you learn to squeeze every last drop of productivity from your day just so you can balance your work and your life. You're not spinning plates anymore. You're figuring out which ones are made of plastic and which ones are made of the finest china in the land. Decision making, this is a big one. When you're the boss, every decision rests on your shoulders, and it sounds like a lot of responsibility. But when it's a few £100 and the dream of utopia is a little while away, you can be reckless with it, and it can be something that you tried and it didn't work. But when it starts going well, you look at yourself and you realise that your decisions matter, and you're still really new, and you're still out of your depth. Now, this isn't a bad thing because we've talked about resilience and we've talked about thriving on the challenge. But what's really interesting is that throughout my professional career, I've made some really big decisions, especially when I was a copper. But there was always a safety net. There was always a decision framework. There was always a matrix behind me or some precedent. Now, everything is brand new, and every decision I make is unique to me, and it's empowering. I've never been more decisive in my life. Financial literacy. And this one surprised me the most because I've always been what you might call questionable with my money. I've had steady jobs all my life, and I've always been part of the machine. So all my life, my money was the thing that came in at the end of the month that I could take for granted. And then when you had that money, you'd plan for the next month, mostly terribly. But now I understand the value of the pound, the dollar, the euro, wherever it is, wherever you are. I think I understand it better than I ever had before. Because now I understand the difference between an asset and a liability. And I understand that when we're working for £2 profit per unit, you appreciate the power of that £2 profit. Because you learn your numbers, you learn to understand profits and losses and cash flow and taxes. And then you figure out that the successful people out there, they're not the ones dripping in swag, driving a supercar, because if you know your money, you know that they're liabilities. You're not just making money anymore, you're growing it, you're understanding it, and you're managing it. And it's a crash course in personal finance. And then also people skills, multicultural people skills and communication. Customers, suppliers, competitors, peers, brands, sponsors, influencers. You learn to communicate with all of them at each age group, at each level, in each culture. You're a better public speaker, you're better to empathize, to persuade, you're better to negotiate. You pick up a phone and you ring up a wholesaler and say, hello, you don't know me, I want to open an account with you. It takes me back to my teenage years where, hello, Mr. Smith, can I speak to your daughter, please? I want to ask her out on a date. This is what we used to do when we were kids. But with wholesalers, it's different because if you pick up the phone and you make a mess of it, you need to have the confidence that in 20 seconds' time, that wholesaler is going to forget entirely about you. So again, when it comes to making contracts, making accounts, opening up accounts, speaking to new people, networking with new people, you put yourself out there and you put on your armor and you say, I don't care if they like me or not, this is me, this is who I am, and I'm going out there and I'm getting what I want. And you do it in a communicative style that suits the very person you're talking to, and it's dynamic. The second you speak to them on the phone, you figure out, is it a man or a woman? What's their rough age range depending on their accent? Where are they from? And then you adapt your communication accordingly. So all of these things are huge educational crash courses, huge jumping in the deep end and seeing if you can sink or swim. And sometimes you will sink, but in the middle of that sinking, you'll adapt and pop back up again. It's incredible. It's so empowering, and it makes you a better person, not just in your business, but in every single way of life. That'll do it. All right, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe, all of those things. Let's not labour on. Have a nice time. I'll see you next week.